We have all these people come from all over the country to come to Texas, and the first thing they always want to do when they get here is they want to go eat barbecue. They always reference like, oh, I read about such and such in Texas Monthly. Let's go see those guys. Texas Monthly is the barbecue Bible of the state. Daniel is the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. He is the guy in the barbecue world that you want to come by and write a review or whatever he does about your place. So I'm down here. It's the first day we're doing live fire chicken. We're running late. We're like 5 minutes till we open, and I've still got 30 more degrees for these chickens are even close to done. And Caleb comes down and goes, hey, Daniel's here. And I said, bullshit, he's not here. So he goes, no, he's here. I said, man, fuck you, there's no way he's not here. And so I get the chickens done, I run up here, and sure as shit, he's the first guy in line right there on Saturday. We've been in it twice. The first time, we got the call before the article came out. They kind of call you and say, hey, you're gonna be on a list that Daniel's putting out. So we were pretty pumped. And then when it finally came out, it came out online first, then I think in print a couple weeks after that. Bar-A-BBQ. I think we have a unique name for first. Everyone goes, what the hell is Bada? Caleb is my brother. He was the head herdsman at the V8 ranch down in Bowling, Texas. As a side thing, what he did down there was he opened up Bar-A show cattle. I just said, we're just gonna steal Bar-A and we're gonna name it Bar-A-BBQ, and you're gonna be okay with it. So that's a big brother, little brother thing.
So where is Bar-A-BBQ located?
In Montgomery, Texas. We're open Wednesday through Saturday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we open up at 10:45. We go until 6:30 or till there's nothing left. So Thursday, I get here about 4 o'clock.
So how'd you come up with this concoction?
TikTok.
Okay.
First thing I do is I go up top and I put the sides that we prepped the day before, I put them in the ovens and get them going. And then I put all the meat on the pits. Then we light the fires. We use all post oak. Post oak is just a super mellow wood. Doesn't put a lot of flavor and stuff on what you're doing. It's super chill. So that's why we do it. And because Aaron Franklin did it, so everyone uses post oak now. So when I'm here, because I'm only here the first hour myself, we'll usually put on some type of form of country music. I don't know, I just think it's something probably more relatable, you know, coming from a smaller town and stuff like that. I don't like to run the ribs and the briskets the same way. It's a completely different fire style.
Yeah.
So having to time ribs on this was just a pain in the ass. We've got 2 offset smokers, both old propane tanks. One's a 500-gallon mill scale, the other's a 1,000-gallon Syntex. This one is Palmer. That's named after my firstborn, my little girl. This one is just, it's the Goldie's pit, so it's Goldie or whatever.
Dude, the Syntex, dude. This is only the second one I'm seeing in person.
I hate to tell anyone to go drop 20, 30 grand for their first smoker, but man, if you've got the money, 100%, go buy a Syntex. It just sips on wood all day. It likes to run really hot, so I have to almost, like, I keep the stack pretty shut just because it really, really likes to pool.
You want a nice coffee?
Yeah, I love one actually, thank you.
Keegan comes in with me at 5 o'clock. He does a majority of the side prep. He doesn't really like to be out in the front around people and around the crowds.
You know, dishes don't talk back, so that's a good part. No, I like being back at house, cooking, prepping. That's what I like to do.
So before Bar-A, were you working like barbecue at all, or any food industry type stuff?
No, I was an aerospace inspector.
Wow.
But he was coming like every day and ordering like a pound of brisket and a half rack of ribs and salt and eating all of it. I'm just like, after like 2 weeks, I'm like, dude, like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you, man? And he was like, no, it's just, I love coming out here and hanging out. I'm like, well, you should just come get on payroll. You're here all the time. And he was like, man, I would love to. And I'm like, show up tomorrow, dude. And he ain't left since. We ain't run him off yet. I love Keegan.
I didn't tell him I could cook. And then he was like, hey, I need help doing something. All right. It's like, can you chop these onions up? Yeah, sure, man. I've been cooking for a long time.
So when we cutting onions, they were like, holy crap, dude. He has a pretty advanced culinary background. Having him on staff has been great for kind of making some of our dishes a little bit better.
He's only a one brother.
You get fat enough, you can't feel shit in your fingers no more.
That's an insider tip.
Insider tip, man. In general, you can just call it craft barbecue. I like to say we're Texas style with just kind of how we season stuff. It's, you know, salt and pepper. Everything in here it's out of grandma's cookbook. Yeah, I mean, that's about what I'm looking for at this stage. Maybe a little bit darker, but we're opening the doors a little bit early, a lot, so not quite as smoky for as long. Normally about this stage, like you'll see tomorrow, they're pretty black at that point. Yeah.
What is your least favorite thing to cook and why?
Brisket, not even close. Yeah, it's the least profitable thing we do. It's the biggest pain in the butt. It's brisket for sure.
See, this shot right here is just gonna get you views.
Yeah.
Got the good looking one doing it.
It's nice, it's nice. We got Caleb, he's my brother. He's about 5 years younger than me. Everyone thinks we're twins most of the time, but he is younger than me. He runs the block as far as cutting. And I'll be honest, I was worried bringing Caleb on board initially. You know, I didn't know how he was gonna be, because honestly, he was leaving a great sales job, took a massive pay cut to come and help me. Man, he has been just lights out from day one.
It's a love-hate relationship, you know, working with family. Luckily, me and Cooper, you know, if we argue, it lasts about 30 seconds, and then we forget about it, you know, because we're too tired or we got too much stuff to do, you know. You know, you're building something bigger than yourself.
What I most appreciate about Caleb is just how hard he works and how attention detailed he is. He cares a lot about everything his knife touches. There's almost at times he annoys me because I'm like, dude, that brisket was great. He's like, no, man, it was terrible. I'm like, all right, man, you need to lower your expectations a little bit sometimes. But no, he's good. We're not putting flowers as garnishes and stuff like that. You know, it's just, I think we're a very old school, just kind of classic vibe to what we do. You know, your brisket, pork ribs, smoked turkey, and we've got 2 sausages that are on the menu full time. Sides, you've got our green bean casserole, our cheesy taters, which is basically a twice baked potato casserole type dish, pinto beans, our cucumber salad, and then we also do brisket dirty rice, which is just another way for us to kind of get rid of some excess chop or trim or stuff like that.
Y'all ready?
Yep. I think it's easier if you taste your food every day, you stay on top of, nothing can get too far off where you want it to be. You know, I don't think enough people try their food, not just barbecue, at restaurants in general, don't try their food enough. No matter who walks through this door, that better be the best looking plate, tray, slice of brisket, rib, anything. If it's not the best, we don't serve it. This stuff's not cheap, you know? Even at 25 bucks a plate, it's expensive. So it better be damn good. You know, that's our duty and our part to make sure it's damn good. Thursday's always kind of a slower day for us. You know, a little bit, not as much volume, focus more on plate sales and stuff like that. You know, and it's not that we didn't have success with meat market style here, but people were just so confused. You came in, ordered a half pound of brisket, a pint of 2 sides and pudding, like, yeah, you just ordered 2 pounds of food. So that's the thing we do that specifically caters to Montgomery's customers.
It's like I go back and forth on the plates, you know. I'm like, it takes the fun out of building those big platters, but, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. What's up, buddy? Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna get you a fresh cup, okay? Yeti, if you're watching this, please sponsor us.
People will forget the thing they bought from you, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And if you come to Bar-A, we want you to feel like you went and, you know, you're at your buddy's backyard just hanging out. So I think it's important for people to understand, like, you know, the restaurant world is not just what you see on social media. You know, it's not all sunshine and sellouts. You know, there are
not every day is a record-breaking day. You know, there are some days where it's not fun to be here because there's no one here. You know, and that's why we do what we do, to serve people. And if there's no one here to serve, it can get tough mentally at times. No Keegan today, he's going golf.
Yeah, he was telling us.
I own the damn place and I can't get a day off to go golf. Bullshit.
So I was born here in '94. From high school, I went out to A&M Commerce out in East Texas. From there, got married. We moved out to the Carolinas for my first real big boy job and was in sales. And then we got back to Montgomery once the chance presented itself. And we've been here for the last almost 4 years now, and don't ever plan on leaving again. Bought our first house here in Texas, and when you buy your first house, you got to buy a smoker. So I went and bought a Traeger, and the first couple briskets I made were absolutely terrible. Every man in this state has tried to smoke a brisket or something, and it's been awful. And then you go to these places that have been doing it for, you know, years, and they got these big brick pits and big propane tanks, and you're like, man, how cool is that? And it's this great product. You're just kind of drawn to it.
Are you cool to be in the video?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to be.
Tristan, we call him T. T is 100% invaluable, and that's what I appreciate the most about him. He's always out changing trash cans, you know, hitting tables, sweeping underneath tables, sweeping the air. I mean, T does all the stuff that no one else wants to do all the time. But man, he works his tail off.
He does everything like he's still in prison. Just like bowed up, just expand his chest. The funniest thing ever. How's that brisket that Ant smoked here?
This good?
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Team member 1, because she's my wife, Shelby. She is co-owner with me. She handles any desserts or baked goods is her.
Man, it's a good thing you've got a woman around.
I know, if you lost without me.
No doubt.
There's no way.
No doubt.
There's nothing I don't appreciate about what she does. She just jumps in and helps where it needs to be helped. So I really appreciate having her. It's great. It's honestly been good for our marriage too. Not that we had a bad marriage, but it's just, I feel like it's made us get a little bit closer, being around each other all the time. So I do enjoy that.
Not bad.
We actually found this old ice cream trailer up in Amarillo, Texas. So we worked out a deal and we picked up that one, and now we have that blue one there that goes out probably once or twice a week to different things.
Yeah, now we're in a rush.
Okay.
Pull out.
Montgomery is a small Texas town. The city limits only has like 480 something people in it. But Montgomery is the birthplace of the Texas flag, which is always really cool. There's a lot of history in this town. So to describe Montgomery is it's a very historical, old Texas town.
Today we are going out to feed our local junior high here. Most Fridays there's a food truck at one of the schools around.
Do you want us to go ahead and put the cheese on those potatoes? Yeah, you're good. There you go. And we've got drinks in the ice chest. Yes, ma'am. It just kind of pairs well with the chocolate and gives it like a smoky flavor. And then we use tallow. So instead of using like butter or anything, I use like a beef fat in there. You wouldn't know it, wouldn't taste it, but yeah. There you go. Yes, ma'am.
I hear you.
This your first time here, buddy? Awesome. I'm gonna put a brisket burger in there. Okay.
So we make this with our brisket rib trim. It's really good.
Oh.
I'm up.
We try and cook enough to be open till 6:30, but some days it just doesn't work out that way. I hate when people drive out here from hours away and they get here at 3 or 4 and we have nothing left. I can't stand doing that to people.
If y'all want to learn something about country music, I'm the man. Alright? There is very few things in this world that I would consider myself a connoisseur in, but country music, dare I say classic country. Alright? Got her down pat. You guys team, man. There's me and him here. Woo! Dog, it's a concert in here. I'll turn it on shuffle mode, and it could go from Merle Haggard, Silver Wings to, you know, Hard in the Paint, Waka Flocka. Oh, I was soft inside. There was something going on. Little drum. That's what they call a buckle polisher. All right, polish that old buckle dancing.
We were starting to do enough briskets that we had so much trim. It was like, hey, we got to do something with this brisket trim. We can't just keep, you know, grinding this stuff up for burgers or throwing it away. So we started making sausage and getting into that process.
But I'm a little bit like, some people will like, oh, I'm gonna twist it till it's tight enough. Like I can feel it in the casing. I'm like, I'm gonna twist it as tight as I want it to be. It's up to the casing to hold it. Show them it burst. I don't give a shit. Every now and then they pop. Even like trying to sell to, you know, 100 Pitmasters instead of just all the people in Montgomery County.
You know, and there's days that I don't get to go do certain family things because I've got to be here for a catering or I've got to get, you know, sausage done or something. And I try and not have them here. My goal is to have everyone here about 4 days a week and me here about 6. Because I don't think anyone should ever outwork me or be here more than me. At the end of the day, this was my dream, my goal.
So how do you know when they're ready to pull?
A lot of it's like the color and like the dryness. You just kind of tell. This one's done here. They'll feel pretty broken down, but not like totally broken down. I'm trying to catch them like just before they break. Like
Put it on the point side or just right down the middle?
Just like that.
All right.
I do think we do a really good job of brisket. I'm not going to say we're the best. I'll never say we're the best at anything, but I think we're up there in the state with the brisket we put out. I think we have a pretty dark bark compared to a lot of other places. And it's because of that cold smoking we spend the first couple hours, putting a lot of smoke and color on stuff. Anything special to it? No. It's just 16 mesh and season all.
How'd it feel? Feel good?
Yeah.
I just think you get a better product when you don't wrap it so stuff.
Yeah. It's so barky.
I'm here till usually about 7, 8 o'clock or so because I cook everything, I pull everything, and then once I pull it, I leave. Saturday we call it platter day because that's the day we're pumping volume out. I get here about 4 on Saturday again, and then everybody else gets here about 6 or so because we're all kind of getting breakfast stuff ready for the day.
Yeah, Cooper was telling us you guys have like an old building out back there. It's like haunted or something. Like a billionaire owned it, and now it's like haunted. It's like a mill. Hey, how's it going, sir?
What? Recording?
Yeah.
I could have gone my whole life without you telling me that.
Sorry.
You guys hired?
I'm Coach Wilson. Wilson.
Hey, good to see you again. That's right.
My dad comes in on Saturdays, and he kind of runs the dish pit for us Saturday because it's all kind of on hands on deck with everything going on. Usually the amount of people we have in here. That dude will show up at 6 and he'll be on the dish pit from 6 to 5 or 6 to 6 just rolling. And you know, he's my dad, so you know, I love him.
Hey, that's the cleanest dish in Montgomery County right there, my friend. You could damn near eat off this thing. I'm not coaching. I'm washing dishes.
Yeah, I guess it'd be family style. You know, it's all family here damn near. So yeah, I call it family style. The advantage and disadvantage at the same time is it's family. Because you love them, but you're around them all the time, you know? And you'll have those days where like just the way they breathe pisses you off. But you know, at the end of the day, it's family. So you just got to figure it out and work your way through it.
So my grandma used to feed us when we were younger. That's why we look the way we do. Cokes and biscuits.
I'll do it to you.
Oh man. Quick, fast, in a hurry too.
So Saturday's breakfast only. We'll have our kolaches, or klabeschneck is the correct term. You know, it's a meat-filled pastry, but we call it a kolache because 95% of our customers have no idea what the hell a klabeschneck is. But the chefs community does care very much about you calling it the right way. They will come after you on social media for sure.
Oh, here's a kolache.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it smells really good. It's like savory. It's got like barbecue sauce on it, so it has like a little bit of sweetness. Nice and salty, and then the bread on the outside is like buttery. Really good. We asked me like, you want an egg McMuffin? You want this? It's like, yeah, I'll take this.
Love it, love it, love it. Got some brisket ready to be chopped up for breakfast.
Nice. You ever take a brisket and just like bite it like a sandwich? Just like
I haven't yet.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yes, I've always wanted to do that. Michelle, I got your brisket right here ready to be chopped. Well,
I'm chopping it?
you want to, or I can chop it.
No, I'm fine.
And then we have Michelle comes in on Saturdays. She's a super hardworking girl. She comes in on Saturdays, helps with sides, and she also helps serve a lot of the breakfast stuff on Saturdays too, and everybody else kind of tied up, prepping stuff for Saturday. She's great. Love having her around.
This is for breakfast. Our breakfast tacos and for our biscuits and gravy.
There's also a lot.
People coming in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do breakfast from 8 to 10:30-ish, or until the breakfast is gone, and then we start the lunch at 10:45.
How we doing, brother? Good. Okay.
Brisket and ribs.
Yeah. On that brisket, you want interviews?
What drinks is there? Some water, tea, soda, and there's a couple that are. Yeah, y'all sold out early yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
Came and almost cried.
I was like, you better hurry, they'll be sold out by noon.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Being able to making payroll, making bills paid, still having some left over, and getting to keep doing the dream every day is what makes this worth it.
We get a lot of folks that'll come by and they love our food and they can't believe how good it is, but time and time again, it's how consistent it is. And they're like, every time I come, it's good. And I think that's what's been the key to success. Like anybody can make a good brisket like every now and then, but it's being able to put good food on a plate every day that makes a business successful. News and Observer for Raleigh has posted about us quite a few times, and they've kind of written us about us throughout the whole journey, like when we were doing pop-ups. Recently, they put out a top 20 barbecue place in the greater Triangle area, and so we were number 5 on that list, and that was a big honor, right behind some real big heavy hitters. And to be ranked that high, especially as a food truck. I mean, like, we're the only food truck on the list. Not everybody's willing to travel for a food truck. So Dampf Good BBQ is located in Phillips Farms, which is a family fun activity area, and we're located right inside of the farm. Our relationship with Phillips Farms, we've known them for about 1.5 years now. Feels like way longer, but we've known them for about 1.5 years. June of 2022, we started doing pop-ups here, and we were kind of doing pop-ups here every other weekend. They have food trucks out here every Saturday during the spring, and we would be out here with like 6 other food trucks. And I don't know what happened, but something wild happened and it just started to click, and we would have a 2.5 hour long line. I mean, our customers, we ask a lot of them to come out here and put up with the weather and put up with the rain or the cold or the snow or whatever, and they do it. And it's really just because of them. So the Dampf name, obviously our last name, it means steam in German. There wasn't really much thought put into that when we chose to use it as the name, but it just kind of worked out well. But it really came out. It's just a fun play on words. It kind of separated it. You see it online or you see it on a advertisement or something. It kind of sticks out. We get a lot of German folk that come and get food, and they're always asking questions about it. So it's always a fun topic of conversation. Only like 56% or 60% of our followers are actually in the United States. It's funny, people see like 30,000 and they're like, man, that's a lot of followers. You guys must be killing. I'm like, yeah, but 15 of them are in Europe. Bluegrass is very popular in North Carolina. Just this whole region, it's like kind of like the music that is from here. And so that's what we play at the restaurant, and that's what we usually like have playing while we're like prepping and getting ready. And so I've come to be I like it. Thursdays, we usually get it around 6, as close as we can to 6, and then we'll get briskets on. So our most popular is definitely the brisket. So we sell a disproportionate amount of brisket compared to everything else. So we're going through between 60 to 72 briskets a week is like on average. So fun fact, all of our briskets actually come from North Carolina. I tried to get Creekstone like everybody else. Yeah. But it didn't work out. So we buy from Myers Natural Angus. It's red Angus, so it's not black Angus. If you look up online or talk to anybody, they'll say there's no difference, but we've noticed the difference. So like this stuff is all upper choice. I mean, you can just see, the marbling that's in these guys. We've noticed it's just really, really, really good. The fat has a little sweeter flavor to it, and then it renders a lot better. We cook all of our briskets unwrapped the whole time from start to finish. But when we're seasoning our briskets, we do a little bit more pepper, or a lot bit more pepper than most places do. It feels very Texas, but I think we do some things that are they're different. I like a really heavy pepper crust. It's delicious. And it kind of became like our signature thing that I don't think we could really step away from now. Kosher salt all the way around, and then we season the tops with a Fiesta brand seasonal. We stopped using Lowry's because Lowry's is too salty too. You can actually like lick this and it doesn't burn your tongue like Lowry's does. And so it's got a good flavor. I like brisket because there's a lot of things that have to go right through the 14-hour process to make it be what you want at the end. And I like that. This brisket in particular, this is like 2 slices in from the end of the flat. Yeah. And it's just like retains so much moisture.
Got it first.
Alright, sweet. Alright, I got here a burnt end from Dampf Good Brisket. So this is my very first bite of brisket. I have no idea how it's going to taste, but I was watching him slice it and I already know it's going to be amazing. So here goes. So beefy. Yeah, man, it has like a nice like sweetness to it, and then he like peppers that thing up, so you get that nice like peppery, the sweetness, the beefy, the smoke. Dampf Good BBQ.
And then all of our wood, so all of our wood comes from a guy up in Wake Forest, about 35 minutes away. And it's all, most of it's white oak. And there might be some red oak in here, like I think this piece right here. But most of it's white oak.
How many cores do you go through like in a week?
Oh man, we're probably going through 2 bags a week. We're going through a decent amount. That's why we like, this guy goes through a lot less wood. We've got 3 offset smokers. So behind me, I've got the dual 1,000-gallon primitive on a trailer. And so that's really what we built our name with. Then we've got the Syntex. If we can, we try to fit all of our briskets on the Syntex. We just really like, it pulls really well, it pulls real gentle, and it's got a nice airflow. Mike, the guy that owns Syntex, he's always asking me like, are you sure? Like, is it really that good? Because like, I think he thinks I'm like trying to like puff him up or something. Yeah. But I'm really not. These blocking logs have been in here for weeks and they have not burned. I don't know what Mike did over there, but the way it renders fat, it cooks really, really, really well. And so that's where we try to cook all of our briskets on that. A burn barrel, you're essentially just making your own charcoal. Let's say a giant like 55-gallon steel drum. You cut a hole out of the bottom, and then you punch holes in it all the way around so you can put rebar in to hold the wood up above where the coals fall. Once it's down, you smack the side of the burn barrel and the coals will fall, and then you just scoop them and keep on going. But even like the best store-bought lump charcoal you could buy, it's not going to replicate what the burn barrel can do. So the pork steaks are one of like the St. Louis things that we do. It's literally just a steak cut from the pork butt. Really, really, really good. So we do them pretty simple. Just salt, pepper, and a little bit of seasoned salt. So the pork steak is real fatty. There's a lot of collagen. It's real flavorful if you cook it right. We cook them on the BQ. It still takes a long time. Like it cooks for like 3 hours over direct heat. So we'll shovel coals under the pork steaks, and that heat and smoke from the coals is cooking and smoking it. But you also get that element of the fat dripping down into the coals, and it creates its own smoke. That fat renders out and it caramelizes, and it just creates this really intense sweetness. But that coupled with the mop and the sauce kind of glazed on the outside of it, it's just like a really good, like salty, sweet, savory steak. The vinegar. So I got interested in barbecue, me and my brother Bryce. So we grew up in kind of all over the place. We've been around a lot of good barbecue, being in St. Louis, being in Texas, now being in North Carolina. We just had a ton of barbecue influence in our life. My brother bought me a Weber for our wedding, and that's kind of where it all started. And so we started on the Weber. We did our first pork butt on that, and my wife bought me a char griller, which is sitting right behind you. But yeah, we used that to make our first brisket, and that was a wild experience. At like 1 o'clock in the morning, we got hit with like a flash storm that just like came down like crazy. And this little smoker is not built to handle that. And so we had the bright idea of setting up a tent over the smoker. So we're out there in the wind and the snow and the rain trying to set this tent up. And we finally get the tent up and get it weighted down so it doesn't blow away. And then we realized that there's smoke is just filling up the tent. And so we're in this tent suffocating, trying to cook this brisket.
The brisket actually came out pretty good.
It came out pretty good. I mean, like compared to what we're doing now, it's garbage. But like at the time, like a lot of people say like their first brisket was inedible. Like ours was not inedible, it was good. Like everyone enjoyed it and we had a good time, and it encouraged me to keep going, so. Get some smoke in there. We're very maniacal about making sure that the sides are cooked consistently. We spend about 17 hours on Wednesday just making sure that the sides are executed well. How are the Brussels looking today? They look good. Oh yeah, man. I love them. So we've got a small team. We all work long hours to make this happen. So Andrew McNeil, he's been with us for a year. And so Andrew has about 15, 16 years of restaurant experience.
I'm from Massachusetts, so I'm used to the grind, you know what I mean? So 70 hours a week, catering, you know what I mean? It took us a little bit, but we're getting there.
And so he's really helped us kind of dial stuff in, make sure it's done consistently, and just been there for us, you know, like when it was, because it's just me and my brother and my cousin, and so he was our first person that was outside of the family. And so he really kind of became like a brother, and having him around has been instrumental. So Perry Ward, he's been with us for about 3 months now, and real funny story. He's a veteran, so he used to be a Marine.
I found Nick on Instagram. My girlfriend had actually told me about Dampf Good BBQ. They just posted a story that they were looking for help. Within an hour, I'd reached out to Nick, and we'd kind of hit it off pretty well. And a couple days later, I was able to come in, and that same day, I started working with him. So
what I like about, or appreciate about what Perry does, he just, because he's a Marine, he's got that like grind mentality, so he just keeps on going, man. He just, everything I need him to do, he does, and doesn't complain. You know, I help him, get on my hands and knees and scrub the floor and like stuff that like no one else wants to do, but he's like first one there, like, let me help you do it. And I appreciate that.
It's a good shot right there. Yeah, those look really good.
Bryce Dampf. So me and him have been doing this since the beginning. I can trust him, you know, like he's my brother, like I know him, and I know he's not going to do anything to hurt us and hurt the business. And Bryce is funny, man.
You know, Bryce's nickname is the Bean Queen.
The Bean Queen.
How do you get that name?
I came up with the bean recipe.
The Bean Queen.
Why do people call you the Bean Queen?
So the Bean Queen came around like literally Halloween. Perry, so he's one of our newcomers. He was gonna buy me a shirt for Halloween that I was gonna wear, and it said the Bean Queen, and he was gonna get me a hat.
You almost bought it, huh?
Yeah, it was only like 20 bucks. I was like, I gotta get it. I never did.
Maybe for Christmas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe for Christmas.
So
you didn't get the hat, but the name stuck.
the name stuck. So now I just get called the Bean Queen. So the beans are, the brisket. The brisket's really what makes the beans come alive, and just the spices and stuff we put in there.
You can taste the brisket.
Okay.
You like the beans. Love the beans. Like the beans.
It keeps it lighthearted. Like we can't do this job and be too serious. It'll rob you of all the joy you might have, you know. So I think that's keeps us young.
We're probably gonna bump into you like 100 times. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Just let it happen.
All right.
Just let it happen.
So like lines are small.
Yeah.
This is how big most lines are.
It's just usually the line in the kitchen at 1.
Yeah.
But it works. We get a lot done in this little space.
The 3 of us are family, so I got my brother Bryce and my cousin Hunter. It is a very family business, and I think that aspect of the 3 of us being related has made Andrew and Perry feel like more like this is a family.
All right, man. Try burgers for you. Have a great day. Thank you so much for coming out.
You know, and I would never recommend anybody like jump into doing this unless they really enjoy it, because it is. I mean, you got some days where it's grueling. There were days earlier on when we first started doing 3 days a week where I was here from 6 a.m. I'd be here till 5, and then I'd go home, hang out with the family for a little bit, put the kids to bed, and I'd come right back, and I'd be here till 3. Fully shut down and like done for the day by like 9:30, and then Hunter's here running the pits and making sure food is cooked and briskets are coming off.
What are you feeling for?
I feel the lean. You always check the lean, and I'm just feeling just around the lean parts, how squishy it is. But this one's done.
When we wrap our briskets, we pull them out of the smoker, we wrap them in foil, and we do not use any tallow, so we wrap without tallow. And the reason we do that is, in our experience, we just don't like the way the tallow like mutes out the flavor of the bark. So we work really hard, so you can taste the pepper, you can taste the salt, you can taste the fat, the crust. I don't want to dump tallow on it and cover it all up.
Wednesdays I'm here till like 2 or 3 a.m. But it usually just depends on how the cook's going during the day and how it does at night, I guess.
Hunter, like, not to just credit what anybody else does, but Hunter is the most important piece of like what we do, because he gave me like my life back, you know, like he gave me time back with my kids and time back with my wife, and I can't even express how much I am thankful for that. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourself. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. Philippians 2:3-4. We chose the Bible verse because one of my big things with getting into this industry was treating people right. Make sure that they feel at home here, they enjoy coming here, it's something that they look forward to coming for. It's not, they put up with us because the food's good. We want it to be a good experience and not be Mr. Macho Man all the time. And sometimes there's a place for empathy and a place for putting yourself below somebody else, you know, because that's what Jesus did. And we want to advance the gospel. We want to share our faith with the folks in our community. People are getting here early.
Yeah.
In the world? It's 10:15. They're fun. We have a really diverse group of folks that come out to the truck. A lot of which we've kind of become good friends with, and I would say they're patient. they're funny. They're kind, and they put up with a lot of our crap. So I'm very thankful for it.
Hey brother, what can I get for you, man? 2 Reubens? Yeah, man. For the turkey, do you want to do a ½ pound or do you want to do the BLT? All right, perfect. What side would you like, bud? Those will almost be ready. We always have so much going on that we're always opening maybe 5 minutes late or something, and people are always so patient. So we've got good customers. We are a Texas barbecue joint. We do Central Texas style barbecue, and so all of those things you would expect to get at a place in Texas, you can get here. So I chose like to do Texas style barbecue over like North Carolina barbecue, partly because we just moved to North Carolina, and so were still kind of getting acclimated to the area, and I didn't want to do disservice to it. Texas barbecue we were a lot more familiar with, and I love the intentionality behind cooking the proteins and making them as good as possible.
And I'll grab that beef rib in 1 second, buddy.
And so we've added a lot of sandwiches to the menu because we want people to have an affordable option. Someone can come here and they can get a sandwich and a side for 12 bucks, you know, and so they can come in and get a good meal. And it can be something that's affordable.
So this is a Chicago classic right here?
Oh yeah, man. Fully dipped, nice and juicy. And Chicago is where I spent the majority of my life. So I was in Chicago for, from the middle of 8th grade up until I got married, and we had our first kid, and then we moved down here. And so we make a smoked Italian beef, and then we slice them real thin on a deli slicer after they've cooled overnight in the fridge, and then we reheat it in a nice smoky jus. And then it goes on a French roll with giardiniera and all that kind of stuff. It's who we are. We love Chicago, and that's what we love. Fridays we do the half-pound smoked brisket burger, and it's a 100% ground brisket burger, so we don't add any chuck or anything to it. We just make as many as we can, and then that's how many we have for service. So we use our hands to make the patties instead of like a burger press, because I think it creates a little bit more of like a fluffy, not so like condensed burger. And then we smoke them for usually about 35 minutes. And then when someone orders one, we take it and throw it on the flat top with a little tallow and sear both sides.
Y'all doing burgers tomorrow too? Oh, okay, it's just today. They're all gone. Okay, that's it. That's all she wrote. Just the last two.
We'd love to stack up against any of the places down in Texas. I mean, that's who we compare ourselves to. We don't compare ourselves to any local businesses. We really want folks to come here and kind of be transported back to Texas.
After the shoot's done, I mean, I'm more than happy to sacrifice myself and consume. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to see the funniest looking brisket? This is a brisket.
Really? Okay, let's see it.
This is a full brisket.
That is so cute.
We got 17 briskets.
Dude, you can just eat that. Like, yeah. Yeah, slice it.
I just started disappointed when I saw it.
Yeah, you can make a half sandwich. Yeah. I got here about 8:15 or so. Here we are sitting at 8:54, but it's all for the love. The love of the barbecue, that's what it's for the people.
Can I have my 10 blade, please?
The thing that separates like North Carolina from everywhere else is whole hog. And so when we started getting started, we always got tripped up because people would walk up to the tent or wherever we were and say, can I get a pound of barbecue? And we were like, what barbecue do you want? And they're like, barbecue. And they're talking about whole hog or pork.
You want to crack my back real quick, Ant? We lost the trotter.
So when you get a real good whole hog, why it tastes so good, the different muscles, just like on a cow, like you're not going to get the same beefiness from a flank steak that you're going to get from a brisket or a chuck roast or whatever. And so you get that same thing with a hog. And so you get your ham, you get your belly, you get your ribs, you get your shoulders, you get everything on that pig all mixed together. So the way what we'll do it, and it's pretty standard, but what's called is banking the coals. So we'll put coals underneath the butts and the hams. Now they're different though. So the ham is lean. So ham is a lot leaner than the pork butt is. And so you got to be mindful of that as well. You don't want to blast the hams like too much as you dry them out, and they won't be very good.
Just checking around to make sure the skin's starting to release. You can start to see it's doing it maybe just a little bit right here in the front, but everywhere else is very stiff. Not much movement. So it's still got a long way to go with this. We're starting to meat that down, and then at about 6 hours through, we're gonna flip it, but we won't flip it until the skin is soft to the touch everywhere around to let them know the meat has released. The hardest part about whole hog is flipping it when it's time to flip it. It's so heavy.
Just come this way.
I think people are starving to like find a place where they can go spend money and feel good about it. When people come for the first time, I hope they walk away like shocked that they just ate the best barbecue of their life.
What makes good food good is proper execution, good ingredients, knowledge, you know, how to cook the food. That's what makes good food good food. What makes great food, I feel like, is the want, the need, and the drive to be better than just the ingredients themselves. So my kitchen experience, well, I went to culinary school. I'm classically trained. Here in Los Angeles, I worked at Providence and Malise, which at the time both were Michelin star restaurants. I started there. Hyatt came along, the hotel company, and I started working for them. And then I slowly traveled with them across the country, working at different hotels. I helped open up a lot of restaurants, and now we're just slanging and banging. I've been on Food Network a couple times. I've done a lot of work with Tastemade. Most recently, I was on Barbecue Showdown Season 2 on Netflix. Did very well up until I didn't. Yeah, that's my TV experience. But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about myself and about my cooking style, and just because I feel like sometimes we get kind of caught in our small boxes and in our worlds. So branching out and meeting new people and like understanding where other people come from, I think is very valuable. ZEF BBQ is located here in beautiful Simi Valley. Our operation is different from a regular restaurant just by the fact that, like, one, it is only pre-orders. You can't just like walk up. We don't serve drinks, we don't serve booze. There's really nowhere to sit. It's just grab and go. We are open currently right now just Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays are pre-orders. Pre-orders go live on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. and then you pick a pickup time for the following Saturday. Sunday walk-ups only. Sundays is like when we fuck around and do weird shit. We do smash burgers and noodle dishes and all different types of, you know, crazy stuff. So Thursdays, I will wake up and I will help get my kids ready with my wife. My oldest to school. We also have a newborn baby who's like not even a month old. And then we also have Kaino, who's just shy of 2 years old. So I help my wife with the boys in the morning and get her situated for the day. And then I try to be out the door by at least like 9:30. So we are going to two places now. We're heading to Restaurant Depot, and then we will head to 99 Ranch for specialty items. So hopefully we'll be back in a decent amount of time. We'll see about that. LA traffic fucking sucks. The vibe in Simi Valley is very quiet, it's very mellow. It is a small town. We're trying to bring more of that traction to Simi Valley. But as far as like restaurants, there's not a lot. The only reason people know about Simi Valley usually is like Joe Dirt.
Okay.
And the Rodney King trials. So it's an interesting spot, man. Welcome to the show. You ready to go on an adventure? Restaurant Depot is excellent because I can buy bulk and it's cheap. Not saying that the product's cheap, it's just cheaper than ordering from like Cisco or literally anywhere else. And like, you know, it's called Restaurant Depot for a reason because it's built for restaurants. It's all wholesale.
What should they sell it by the pound, by the case?
$3.69 for the case.
It's below $4. I'm about to pick up like 8 cases.
Yeah, right.
And so here in ZEF BBQ, I mean, we never get Creekstone, let's just be honest. So I have to buy prime brisket from Costco. Everyone wants to sell Creekstone. Aaron Franklin does it. I want to do it. That's what you want to do for your customers. But there's always a second next best thing that you can fall back on. And as long as you use it properly and coherently, you can still get the same exact results that you're looking for. And dude, it's like little shit too, like on the cart. So this bacon is like ends and pieces.
Okay.
Regular bacon will cost you $45 a pound, you know, whatever it is. That case is $30. So it's just like, it's using that chef mentality to like make shit work for you. You know, like, why spend fucking $80 on a case of bacon when I can spend $30 on it? And it's the same fucking result, you know? It's just all chopped. But we're moving though. We're fucking hustling, you know? Like, we're only at Restaurant Depot if we're there for more than an hour, I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes now that I know where everything exactly is, so it's just boom, 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 hit it. Yeah, I missed a lot of shit.
I'm distracting you.
Oh no, I always forget. Shop at Restaurant Depot, get that shit together, get in the truck, and then 99 Ranch we will be going to after, which is an Asian store where I get like all my Asian specialty items. That's where they have like the curries I need, the mirin, you know, Shaoxing wine, like just stuff that like you aren't gonna be able to get at Restaurant Depot or, you know, Vaughn's or anything like that. I would explain 99 Ranch as like being very intense. Like the past couple times I've gone, it's just bananas, you know, so just get ready for that. It's dead here.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this is pleasant, dude. I can't even tell we're like in LA, you know?
So what are you looking for specifically with these?
For sweet potato, especially because it's just for potato salad, just that they're not, because like you can open one up, see how it's denatured. That'll run through the whole chinga. And there's bacon, scallion, dill. And away we go. I do like shopping. The downside of it is just, dude, it just takes a lot of time. And once we're done shopping, we bring it back to the restaurant, we bring it back to the commissary, and I'm trying to get back here and trying to beat Kirby here at 2.
Yeah, so how'd you meet Logan?
I slid in his DMs. Yeah, I was looking for work, like I really like appreciated what they were doing, and I was like, yeah, you know, give it a shot, and 2 years later, here I am. Yeah, I'm excited. We're doing some cool stuff, like congee, I freaking love. Whole brisket to sell, brisket for the curry, and then we're doing those nice big honking platters too, so brisket will kind of be utilized for those things.
We keep a very simple structure here of like old school brigade system. You have, you know, executive chef, which I guess is technically me. We have sous chef, which is Kirby. He does the trimming of the briskets. He does the slicing during service, so I can be on the line and do like the more intricate dishes. He does the things that I don't have time to get to.
EP weight is edible portion. We track the whole process through AP as purchased to edible portion. We trim aggressively, water content that you lose during the cook for pricing as well. So that way we know exactly the product that we have.
So on service day, is there anybody else that's gonna be here besides you and Logan?
Yeah, we might be a little short.
This week is gonna be sketchy.
Yeah, we might be a little short this week on staff, but we'll get there.
Okay,
we'll figure it out.
The thing I appreciate most about Kirby is a like honestly like low key like a shoulder like lean on, like just being there, you know, just keep, and I just appreciate the fact that he shows up every weekend. You know, I'm not the easiest person to get along with. Yeah, so like the blessing and kind of like the curse. We were gone in LA shopping for maybe 3 hours ish, and we had like another $1,600 of revenue coming. But just like I have to go buy more ribs now, I have to buy more tri-tip. That's just like the ups and downs of, you know, running the pre-order system on top of like just trying to make everything work and get every dollar that you can out of the life.
This big pot is for the ramen?
Yeah, that's for the ramen broth. Yeah. So right now we're getting our brine ready for our pickles. So we do equal parts rice wine vinegar and apple cider vinegar.
Exact measurements only.
Exact measurements only. We really do gotta start making recipe cards. Through my study and research and findings, ZEF is a term that came out of post-apartheid South Africa. And it was a term that they used when these people were living below the poverty line, but they were still buying chains and tracksuits, and there was a car that everyone would specifically buy because it was so easy and so cheap to soup up, and it was called a Zephyr. So the short term of that is ZEF, and ZEF basically means you can do whatever the f you want. You can be whoever the f you want. And so when we started ZEF BBQ, obviously we always have the brisket and the pulled pork and everything, but we started doing so much more than that and started encompassing curries and birria and ramen, while still keeping it in the spirit and the lens of Texas barbecue. And the Dragon Ball Z pose, that was actually when I had my first job in like 5th grade, like mowing lawns and shit. That was the first thing I ever bought with my own earned money.
So who is the night cook?
So the night cook is moi. It is I. As of right now, I do it because I find joy in it. I find a lot of peace in it. It's like the only time of my day that's like quiet. Because I got a guy that slices it, I got a guy that trims it, you know, but like the cooking process is still something that's like very like in here, you know, for me, because it was so alien before, and now I think I have a pretty good handle on it. So I decided to go with a 500-gallon offset because of what our needs were. And like I prefer the offset because I feel like it gives a better combustion, it creates a better bark. There's so many different cookers out there now, but it's what I learned on and it's what I'm like comfortable with, you know, because like it's only one cooker, it only has one mode, fire on or fire off, you know. Stuff, that's bark. That's not even a piece of wood. So the wood I use a combination of coastal live oak, and then I use that in combination with like a little bit of black walnut because the aroma that comes off the red oak is pretty sweet. So I kind of temper that with the black walnut, which burns pretty, I know, lack for a better term, like dirty. So like out of my whole cook, I only put in like 6 or 7 splits, and it helps even out the flavor, in my opinion. mean, there's a lot of people that'd be like, it just all tastes the same. So today we got brisket, dino bones, which are beef ribs, plate ribs, rib bones, pulled pork, pork belly for burnt ends, tri-tip, pork ribs going on later, and then we also have the Spam, which I browned and emulsified today. Spam.
Spam.
Fully emulsified. I'm passionate about food, and barbecue for me right now is the best vessel to translate that. What kind of got me into barbecue is when we were living in Chicago, I started doing ribs and like pork belly and anything I could kind of like get my hands on. And we lived like probably like 6 to like 8 blocks away from Wrigley Field. And so I would roll the little cooker out into like the alleyway, and I was selling like just like meats for like $5 like a little box and out of my backyard. We moved back to Monterey, and I tried to implement like a full barbecue program into the sports bar there, and it really didn't take off, but it made for a lot of practice. And then the pandemic hit, and I lost my job, and I moved into my daddy's house. And I sold 1 brisket that first weekend, and then the next weekend was 2 brisket, and the next weekend was like 3 brisket, and then it just kept going on from there. And then we started doing curries and ducks and wild shit, and then the rest is kind of like history.
Oh, look at all that goodness dripping off of it.
This still got some good time, pretty nicely. And like when we roast them on Saturday, you'll see. Like it holds the color. Very nice. I started the cook today at approximately, I'd say like 8 o'clock is when I started the fires. After a full day of just like running around and stuff. And we got a little bit of a later start, but hopefully we'll have everything off by like 9 a.m. What we do isn't difficult, it's just a commitment. So it's a lot of hard work. But I kind of like just take it in stride like I do like everything in life, you know? And like I said, like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Cook went good. I slept through one of my alarms, so I woke up and the fucking cooker was at like 120 degrees. Really? Yeah. So just like, right, your Friday really depends on that cook. And like I said, like, dude, I've been here early as like 8 a.m. and I've been here in like late as like 2. You know, but you get it done. And that's when like a lot of our bulk prep is done. All of Saturday depends on Friday. I mean, it's never happened, knock on wood, but like we scorch a oven of potatoes. Like those potatoes are literally coming out of the fucking bottom line. You know, there's no recovering that. Our main goal on Friday is to set ourselves up for success for Saturday. You plan for the worst and you hope for the best. Right now, this week, we're doing Asian cuisine, so we're doing like the traditional char siu, and like for the people that aren't familiar with char siu, it's the meat that you see like hanging in, you know, Chinatown, you know, off the hooks, and it's bright red and it's neon, it's beautiful and gorgeous and succulent. So we're trying to implement those flavors over into like the ribs. Our ribs has been a work in progress, you know, because like back in my backyard and stuff, you know, it'd be, you know, 1 or 2 racks, and then like you bump up to like 18 racks or 25 racks, it changes the whole paradigm. But now, you know, fast forward to 2023, 2024, we have them dialed in, we have a process. I showed interest for cooking in high school. Meals as a family and meals with people you love is very like important to me. And to be able to kind of turn that into a career and turn that into something that like, well, not just like feed my soul, but feed my family was very like important to me. But it wasn't my first choice. So originally I wanted to be an MMA fighter. I had an amateur record of 11-1, and then I had a pro record of 1-1. First fight went fantastic. Second fight went just as well as you might think it would. I have a cauliflower ear and like I've broken a bunch of bones, but the mentality of martial arts and the mentality of striving to be better every day and be the best translated over into cooking and the culinary industry very well. Bring it to natpei.
That smells amazing. I have no idea what that means.
So natpei is a French term. So when you make like a cream sauce or any type of sauce, a jus, or you take your spoon and you pull it through, and if it leaves a trail like that, give it a little bit more time. Natpei.
Natpei.
N-A-P-P-E. And you see me on the line now where it's just like I have one thing going that I'm focused on, but then there's several other sub things that I have going on like the back of my head. And I have timers, I have reminders, I write on my hand, you know, because like it is just me and Kirby. And we got a lot of shit to do. And like, dude, I got wife and kids at home. Like I gotta get home, you know, like I don't got time to be like staring at boiling water, you know? So like I put a lot of responsibility on Kirby as well. And Kirby runs, you know, errands for me. He runs tasks for me. You know, he makes the pudding.
Yeah. You want one of these now?
Sure, yeah.
Here, I'm gonna give you a nice, here's a really.
Thank you, brother, appreciate it.
That's a good one.
Oh, thank you very much.
Cheers.
So Kirby told me to get a nice big spoonful to get all the layers all up in there. Get the banana, get that cookie in there. So, all right, cheers. Man, that is so good. Like the banana, the cookie, and the cream like come together like perfectly. Like the textures, everything is just like perfectly balanced. Like, not joking at all. This is the best banana pudding I've ever had, seriously.
A lot of the best techniques and just like practices that I've pulled from either fine dining or hotels or like standalone restaurants is just like one, cleanliness, you know, just like that's just off the top, you know, just like clean floors, clean, you know, like we clean the ranges every other week, we clean the hoods every other week. Like I don't want to clean the fryer, but the fryer needs to get cleaned. You know, I'm not trying to have my food taste like burnt shit. I think barbecue and traditional fine dining cooking works very well together because they're framed kind of from the same worlds. You know, you have fine dining, you have like barbecue, and both, you know, and I've stated before, it's like, there is no shortcuts. And I believe full-heartedly doing it the hard way, doing it the right way. I really, really, truly believe in that. So Saturdays are different than Fridays in the fact that like Saturday it's game time. Like we get down and dirty, like, you know, the time has come. I kind of like spearhead everything. I'm in earliest, so I get everyone set up. I write whatever the specials are, is what we have to build on the line. And then Kirby will get here. If we gotta do like any like mise en place, like, you know, cut scallions or cut citrus or cut ginger or anything like that's for that day, he'll get that done. Like all my guys are built like me and you. So like our running joke is always that like the kitchen's big enough until it's not. Kirby's a big guy, I'm a big Chubba. There's a reason why we call him Chubba. I appreciate Kirby because he follows up with me. I appreciate Chubba because even though he's never on time, he always works hard. Yeah, you know, like the meme, like if like someone was like, yo, like I will give you $2 million, but you have to say the name of a person that will show up late. It's Chubba. It's always Chubba. Like I'm late to everything. Like that must be late to his own funeral. He starts portioning like all of our cold sides. So like the mac salad, the coleslaw, a potato salad.
This one of your favorite sides?
This is the one. Pretty good. Got some bacon in it.
Yeah, he gave me a bite of it. It was insane.
Our meats are like our lowest selling items. Ramen's the like the curry bowl this week, the spam musubi, you know, when we run the ducks and stuff, is like our bigger seller.
Well, when we first started, it'd be there like every Friday night to help them like portion barbecue or just little things to get us prepped for the Saturday service.
So Enrique is part of the kitchen, but Enrique's too pretty to do, you know, the cleaning or any like the prep and stuff. But in the absence of Anna, especially now because Anna is on our third kid, and even after she had our second kid, Enrique really took over like the front of house. Like I've known him longer than I've known Anna. Having someone in your corner like that and someone that like rallies you a lot of the times, and I know he's there, that's the biggest thing for me. Everyone needs an Enrique.
I am best friends with Logan, and along the way, you know, COVID hit and he's just like, hey man, like I think we want to start a barbecue, and so I design all the menus.
His graphic design from when we started to like now has come leaps and bounds. Our menus are a lot of like anime, like a lot of like nerds, a lot of comic book stuff, and depending on Enrique's schedule, we either get the menu posted Tuesday evening, and then Saturday, you come in at your selected time and you pick up your food and you get the food out.
Is there a some kind of flair on the macaroni salad?
We kind of like do it island style. We put a little bit of katsu sauce in ours too.
I didn't know basically anything about my Asian heritage until I was like 22. And then I also found out that I was part Hawaiian, so I started doing more research into that. Anna's family is also from Hawaii as well. And so that's influenced our food quite a bit.
You're all set. Thank you so much. Yeah, enjoy.
So Anna's experience is pretty like hardcore, like just as hardcore as mine, but from like front of house, from server to lead server to bartender to general manager. So when it comes to ZEF BBQ, it's been great because a lot of times I can just cook and she makes sure all of our taxes are paid. She is in constant contact with our CPA, with the city for our business licenses. I appreciate her just being the mother of my children and just helping me with this whole caboodle.
We're not a sit-down restaurant, so like you don't get to table touch throughout the meal with somebody. So it's like the interaction you have at pickup. It's literally like maybe 30 seconds to a minute that I get to interact with these people, but it's fun.
I had a liver transplant.
Did you take mine?
I know. I did.
Probably shot already. It's good to see you, man.
Good seeing you, man.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's just for us.
Oh, well.
You think we're going to be I'm eating this for the next few days.
Okay. Good. Thanks, man. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. There's a lot of people that have literally told us like, yo, like I wouldn't have eaten this if you hadn't have made it. You know, our first like 2 months, all we did was barbecue. Typical like, you know, barbecue fare. And then like slowly like we'd roll out, you know, a spam musubi or like a duck dish or like, you know, a beef cheek dish, just slowly but surely getting people more intrigued. I've forced them to be progressive. This is our spam musubi, a house ground pork and brisket farce that we emulsify and press and then I smoke it. Here we have our roasted confit duck congee. We serve it with crispy potatoes, duck confit, egg, chili crisp, and then fried garlic. And this is our chili garlic shrimp. It's based off the Hawaiian food truck version of it. Chili crisp, jasmine rice, Gulf shrimp, cilantro, grilled onions, fried garlic, and then a little bit of citrus. Right here we have our brisket curry, which is kind of like what we're known for. It's a combination of Japanese and Thai curry that I've been working on for like forever, that I'm really proud of. Jasmine rice with a little bit of everything for a kake, and then some kimchi daikon that we make in-house. So this is our ramen. It's another dish we're pretty known for. We have pit smoked char siu pork belly across the top. We've got egg, scallion. We put a roasted tomato in there with furikake on it just because like it's like a umami bomb when you put it in there. Fried garlic, chili oil, and then underneath we get special ordered in sun noodles from Hawaii because we think it's the best ramen noodle that comes pre-made. We have brisket smoked with coastal live oak and black walnut. We have some burnt ends. We have Santa Maria style tri-tip. We have some char siu style spare ribs. Just your traditional like Carolina pulled pork, Hawaiian style mac salad, sweet potato salad. Then we have our curry udon noodles, bon appetit. You know, if you're not continually trying to improve yourself or like waking up every day, trying to improve yourself, doing it better than you did the day before, doing it better than the week before, then what are you really doing?
What makes a good tray of barbecue, I believe, is consistency. Meats, sides, the sauce, pickles and onions. Every single bite that you take out of the tray, you want to be wowed, you want to be surprised. And that's very hard to do. Texas Monthly has a lot of power in barbecue. They started this list where if you make it at a high point on those lists, then your restaurant is changed forever. The list is the top 25 barbecue list. For some reason that week, we were having such a good week, set up a tray and we sat down and ate it. And we were just like, damn, this is so good. And then we turn around and we see Daniel Vaughn peeking out the glass like window and we're just like, yes! He ate that same food and wrote a really, really nice article about us and put us on that list. There was so much press about us in the very beginning. Everyone's kind of like, them again. We've had a story in Garden and Gun, the New York Times. Just 2 days ago, we were nominated for the James Beard Best New Restaurant. Such an honor. I mean, that's one of the greatest. That's like winning an Oscar or a Grammy for the food world. It reaches the people. They're just so happy that they can finally make it and eat our food.
Riz's music is super chill. I like it.
I like more calmer, weird sounds music. But to me, because of that chaos in music, I'm able to focus. Not everybody's like that. Our Friday starts at around 5 a.m. and I'll get to setting up my area to go over the briskets once again, trimming, We serve Creekstone MasterChef. They're pretty much the big dogs of meats. They're pretty good. They cook really good. We get the delivery on Wednesday. I just kind of go through them pretty fast on Wednesday. Get everything ready for sausage.
Okay. Today's like to make them pretty?
Yeah.
What is that movement you're doing where you're kind of like rubbing
Pinching
the fat?
Yeah. And making it stick out so that I don't miss it. 'Cause it'll pop up halfway down the cook and you're like, dang it, I missed that spot completely. My favorite meat, of course, is brisket because you can get so nerdy about it. And it is the most challenging.
Oh, you caught it.
I felt it. You'll probably sneeze at some point with this seasoning.
So you guys make that yourselves?
Yeah, no one knows how heavy the shaker gets. The most overlooked thing for brisket, I believe, is seasoning. Oftentimes, the brisket is cooked perfectly. You get that slice of brisket and it looks so good. And then you bite into it and it's underwhelming because the flavor's not there. But you can tell that whoever was cooking these briskets like worked their butt off. I like forced myself to eat the rub like every single morning for a few months so that I can really memorize that flavor. Probably one of the hardest things to do is to season, make sure it's not under seasoned and make sure it's not too salty. The first feeling when stepping into the smokehouse is feels like home, and it feels very natural and loving to me. We have this 1,000-gallon mill scale. Our investor, Joe, she put down the down payment for us because she believes in us and she loves us from the first day that she met us. This was the dream smoker for me. Now it's here, now it's mine. I love it. Seeing their work, I was just taken away by the craftsmanship. I love looking at the welds on the doors, on every piece of the smoker. The welds are like perfect. Every smoker is different, no matter if it comes from the same person. They cook differently, and that was a challenge to the beginning to figure out how close to have the damper, how to run the fires to. It took a while for me to find that sweet spot where the draw is not being pulled so aggressively nor too slow. And now we got it at the perfect spot.
So I guess what's the strategy for like moving them around?
Just size and turn end direction. Yeah, bigger ones go towards the smokestack and against the wall.
Oh, okay.
Same with the door, and then the middle ones in the middle. The overall theme about barbecue is patience. At the same time too, there is very little room for error. You have to remind yourself that this is a one-time thing, and if you mess it up, then it's not like any other kitchen job where you can whip up something super quick. It's if you mess up, it's done. Once the meat's on, well, we feel so relaxed and we're like, all right, that's taken care of. We'll deep clean the kitchen after working with all the raw meat, and then we'll get started on our real prep with making the chocolate pudding, the green spaghetti sauce, getting pickles, onions ready.
What is that? It's like seaweed.
It's dill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a monster in here. It's really cool that we have like 2 giant windows in the kitchen. Most kitchens I've ever worked at. There's nothing to
just a greasy wall.
Yeah.
So this is the 4th hour mark. We're starting to enter the stall. I'm just gonna shift them back a little bit. When I first started barbecue, I didn't have any eye bags, I didn't have any wrinkles. I started out Franklin. Johnny had worked at Franklin, and so that's where I met him. And I left to study abroad in Norway. I worked at a barbecue restaurant there called Way Down South in Oslo. Before I left to Norway, Johnny was actually leaving to Fort Worth around the same time. I vividly remember this conversation, sort of walking out and saying our goodbyes because I was going to Norway and he was going to Fort Worth. He said, I'm going to open my own restaurant and you're more than welcome to come and cook and learn. Came back to Austin. Sure enough, he opened his own barbecue restaurant and that's exactly what I did. I would have been so comfortable at Goldie's if I were to have stayed, but I'm not a person that likes to be comfortable. I like to be challenged. I knew then, after working with them for about a year, that, all right, y'all, it's time. It's time for me to go. And now we're here. Immerse and blend it first, and then blend it with with the Vitamix to really blend together.
I broke this, and then she finished breaking it.
That's some teamwork right there. I've heard a lot about the green spaghetti. I'm really excited to try that.
Everyone usually gets the green spaghetti. I'd say it's their signature side. It's fire roasted poblanos, creamy, savory, a little bit spicy. I mean, everyone in the Valley makes green spaghetti, but everyone does it differently. That's my mom's recipe right there. One of the best bites in the world.
Lacardians love our green spaghetti and chopped brisket sandwiches.
What did you say? Wacardians?
Lacardians.
Oh, Lacardians, okay.
Barbs-B-Q is located in Lockhart, Texas. It's a small town that has been around for a long time, but it is growing pretty rapidly. My favorite part about Lockhart are the people that live here. From the get-go, they're just like, the community is so supportive of what we were going to bring. You sort of feel a sense of magic from the history, the smell of smoke. You start seeing all these barbecue billboards, all these barbecue signs, and so you automatically feel that you are in a town that's ran by barbecue. Lockhart is where it all started. Kreitz became a meat market, and then you got Smitty's, and then you got the Blacks, all within such a short distance from each other. Thereon, it just grew to be what the town is for good barbecue. And what better than to add on to that history. So this one definitely stayed more composed, and it's like what it should look like. Good looking one.
I just saw the patented Chuck karate chops.
Just see all the comments.
Inevitable.
One day it's going to be 1,000 times more worth it. The work that we're doing right now, the seriousness. It's not fun to open a restaurant the first year and not able to pay yourself. Well, you're working long hours. First year is never fun. And that's where we're at right now.
So how do you know they're ready to pull?
I feel ready. It's just a nice feeling. You know, you make a piece of meat that's not meant to be tender. Magic. But like today, we are down to 14 hours now. Ideally, you want to have someone to do that first part of the brisket, the first 6 hours, and then you want to have someone else finishing them off, because it is a long day and it is not healthy for someone to do by themselves. When I grew up in Brownsville, which is like the southernmost tip of Texas, a border town, growing up the way I did with not much, it sort of made us age faster, age quicker. It was some rough times for sure. My parents worked so much. I was embarrassed, like as a kid growing up, like, why are we living in a trailer park? But as soon as I went away from home, I realized like, oh my God. Like, my parents were just like so stressed all the time that that's why they couldn't be there. There's a song by Juan Gabriel called Eternamente Agradecido. He sings about growing up in poverty in Ciudad Juarez, and he mentions, I never want my city or my people to go through the same poverty that he did. That's like such a fire in me to help so many people and help them live a good life, because it's a hard world out there. To have a restaurant, to own a business, like, wow. I am so fortunate that we have this little spot in this part of the world that we are able to welcome people and make them feel loved and send them out to the world with a piece of us. I think my favorite thing about cooking barbecue is how demanding it is. I think it comes down to having a lot of patience, and I have a lot of patience. We are open Saturdays and Sundays now from 11 to sold out, which is usually around 2. We started out with pop-ups and then worked our way to opening this restaurant. And so the pressure was already set very high. Hello, it's 2 a.m. This is the Ribbee. The Molotov ribs are truly an explosion of flavor. It's not what you expect, because now I think it's very common to expect what a pork rib is going to taste like at barbecue restaurants. All these flavors, when you bite into it, you're like, what the heck? It's like very addicting. I like to think that that's kind of like my hot Cheeto creation, because it's just so addicting, those flavors. So when I was making the rib sauce, I was like, I want these ribs to taste savory and just a tiny bit of a kick, because those are the flavors that we grew up with eating in Brownsville. The ribs go on at 2 a.m. because, gosh, if they went on any little later, we would be too stressed. Because specifically the lamb chops and the sausage cook at a different temperature than the ribs. Lamb is one of the most delicious meats, in my opinion. I got to work with lamb in Egypt while helping open a barbecue restaurant over there, because that's mostly what they eat. The lamb is tricky to cook because you want to get it medium rare. If you cook it any more than that, then it starts getting tough. It starts drying out very quickly. That medium rare lamb chop is just one of the most beautiful things that can happen in your mouth. I was trying to find a name. Nicki Minaj had just released an album, but I just kept seeing Barbs, Barbs, Barbs everywhere because that's her fan base. Then it just clicked, like Barbs-B-Q.
Twist.
This is our new tahoe, so.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it.
So we took the components of a
pineapple upside down cake, and we just made a cobbler out of it.
Jo is someone who saw me without meeting me in person. She came into my life through an Instagram message offering me a smoker. She said, I've been looking for someone to give this smoker to. I just found out about you.
I don't know you, you don't know me, but I have a smoker. I heard you're trying to come back to Austin, and I'd be happy to see if there's some way we can work together. And so I didn't hear from Chuck for a few days. So I was like, she probably thinks I'm crazy because she doesn't know me. I don't know her. Then I got a message back from her a few days later, and she's like, let's talk. And immediately when I met her, I knew that it was meant to be. Like, it was right.
She's my number one. She's my mentor. Not only did she go to culinary school, but she also owned a barbecue restaurant at a certain point in her life. She's very good with the financial side of things because she's an accountant and I'm just a cook. And if I was only a cook and I didn't have her to look at numbers and guide me, then we probably wouldn't have survived. So right now there isn't too much of a line. It gets from the service counter to the door at 11, and then from there on it stays consistently that size up until we sell out on Saturdays. Customer gets up to the counter and then you need here to get to go. What are you up to? What are you doing here?
Hi there, y'all. How are y'all doing? Congratulations on being the finalist for the James Beard.
Thank you. We're pumped. It's small in here. It's intimate. You're more than likely going to share a table with strangers that you don't know. Very communal. You just really never know who you're going to meet here because it's people from all over. I love when it's busy, you know, it fuels me, it gives me energy. Coming up, tray for two. Tray for two. Most people get the tray for two, a little bit of brisket, a little bit of ribs, a little bit of turkey, 2 sides and 1 dessert. And then we have the full house, which has a pound brisket, pound ribs, half-pound turkey, a sausage, all 3 sides, pints, and both desserts.
So what do you recommend first-timers get on their first Barbs-B-Q tray?
The full house. I love change. I think change is the only constant in life, and I'm really excited about the future. Imagine what it will look like then if we are doing what we're doing right now.
Redbird opened, our soft opening was in August of 2023. I guess we've been open for about 5 months now. Texas Monthly is like the end-all be-all when it comes to Texas barbecue. Daniel, he's the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. The first couple months that we had opened up, you know, Daniel actually came the weekend after we got married. He tried to catch us on a day off, but we were still dialed in, When Daniel walks in, there's this kind of like, the mood changes. I remember him eating the brisket that I'd cooked, and he loved it. He wrote an amazing article about Redbird, called us a barbecue jewel. But what feels even better is just serving people that are so thankful that you're doing it. Redbird BBQ is located here in Port Neches, Texas. The Golden Triangle area. We are about an hour 15 southeast of Houston. We're located in an area where it's a lot of Cajun influence, and there's not that much barbecue. You know, it really made sense for me and Delaney to move home and open up Redbird where we grew up, because we have a lot of customers that really, truly, they're like genuinely thanking us for bringing something different to the city. It's been very successful so far. When I get into the pit room, my music's a little bit different than some of the other employees that like to work here. But if I get here first, we're listening to hip hop and hip hop only, buddy.
So it's
gonna smoke a lot. This first brisket fire is gonna smoke a lot. We want a low flame, about like that. This fire will last an hour and a half.
Redbird has always been part of the Creekstone family, and we buy their all natural line. Got to start out with good meats. I mean, if we're opening up a barbecue joint and we're not starting out with good quality meats, then like, you know, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So the brisket goes on in the morning, 5 a.m. on the dot every morning. And so we found like 5 a.m. is a really good sweet spot. If they go 12 hours, then we're looking at 5 p.m. But if they go 13 or 14, maybe a little longer, we're looking at 7 or 8, which anybody in the barbecue world knows this. If you can get your briskets off 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock, you're looking really good. You know what's crazy, bros? We've had a line since day one. I knew this area would appreciate good barbecue. I did not know how much support we were gonna have. We went from cooking 25 briskets at a pop-up to now cooking like 100 briskets a week. So it has been kind of a learning curve, but I think now the food's better than it's ever been. We're really dialed in now, so. That's why people travel for barbecue, is because you're taking this meat that's very, very hard to cook and you're making it tender and you're really elevating that. So we have 2,000 gallon Syntex smokers and we love them. They are built very, very well. You know, Michael over at Syntex, he pays attention to details. You can tell every single detail of the pit was done with a purpose. We actually had to extend both smokestacks to fit them in here, so we had to extend them an extra 2 feet. And when I called Michael at Syntex, he was like, dude, they're gonna pull harder. Once you get the damper to a certain point, I think both of them cook pretty evenly. We named our pits. You know, the first pit that I got, I named it after my stepbrother, Cody. Then the second pit I got, I named after Goldie. So back in 2021, Goldie's ended up getting #1 on the Texas Monthly Top 50 list. And I was working with Johnny the time that they got #1. So I worked there for about 1.5 years. I would stay up there from 7 days, 8 days, 10 days in a row, and I would just work as much as I could. And you don't understand how long the drive is from Port Neches to Fort Worth until you take it about 50 times. But when you're going up there for that long and you're spending a lot of time with people, you just develop really good friendships. And I developed a really good friendship with every single one of them up there. You know, me and Jalen, me and Johnny, you know, me and Lane, like all of us have different relationships, and all of them were so willing to help. I wouldn't be where I'm at without them and without that experience. And so I dedicated my second smoker after them, so I named that one Goldie. Here are the different sausages we're doing right now. This is our house sausage. It's got a little bit of fresh garlic in there, red pepper flakes. This is our cayenne, spicy cheddar, and green onion sausage. You know, Cajuns love cayenne. That's kind of like the spice here. And then this is that Kubi I was telling you about. It's like, what you're seeing is like all the herbs in there, but you're also seeing like the turmeric pop out. We also infuse it with saffron water, some water.
Oh man,
and put it
you're
in
getting chefy on them.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. Yeah, so, you know, my dad's full-blooded Persian. He came from Iran, and he's always tried to incorporate our, you know, where he's from into, you know, what we grew up eating. So we eat Persian food all the time. When you're eating it, if you haven't had Kubi, it's just gonna be like a burst of flavors. It's a really cool take on like one of my favorite dishes I grew up eating. Sausage requires a lot of patience, my friend. You really don't want sausage either this close, I feel like, because it gets too hot. So you want it maybe a little bit further away from the door, and you do not want them touching. Because if they're touching, then they won't get colored. That's like a very important step, is to make sure that they have enough space for the airflow, but also if they're touching and they don't get that beautiful color, they get more kind of just whitish. Nice little coal bed, right? But this is gonna be a nice fire for about a 130 to 150 range. And that first fire on the cold smoke, that's what I'm looking for. But that way you're able to get good smoke, kind of get these sausages off in a good time. Sausage making is very important because it shows a lot of level of skill. And if you want to be the best and you want to be considered some of the best, your sausage has to be top notch. We always want to make sure that anything that you order here, especially the sausage that we make here, it's just something that you haven't had before, and it's very unique flavors. Good color, This is the Kubi there. They feel really nice. I feel like a lot of barbecue joints focus more on the meats than anything else, which that's what you're supposed to do. But you also want the experience of the side dishes and everything down to the pickles and everything to be unique. It's overall gonna be a better experience. We're doing things that most barbecue joints don't have the luxury of doing because they're probably open too many days. And that allows us to be able to do everything from scratch. So we roast garlic. We roast garlic. We put the roasted garlic in the potato salad dressing. So it's kind of like almost like a roasted garlic aioli.
Whoa, that's the cheese y'all use?
Yeah, this is the worst part of my job. Cut the cheese off this bar.
Hey, that cheese, that's what we use for the Caesar slaw. I mean, if we're gonna do Caesar slaw, we're gonna do it right, buddy.
Oh, you're gonna love it. I put a lot of Parmesan in the dressing, and then I shave Parmesan at the end once we assemble it and put that in there to really give it that Caesar slaw vibe. And then she makes homemade croutons for it.
A little bit of butter, garlic, salt, simple crouton. Amir tells me I can cut brisket with the way that I cut the bread.
It does look like that.
The cream corn from scratch. We're shucking our own corn stock that goes in the red beans, to the pickles, to the barbecue sauce, to the banana pudding.
I always whisk the eggs before I add the cornstarch just to make sure it's as smooth as possible. No chunks. Once you drop this in though, it'll drop about 20 degrees. And that's when the constant stirring begins.
On Thursdays, my wife Delaney will get here, and one of the things that she likes to knock out is the banana pudding. It's light, it's not too sweet. She's known that recipe since the day we started making it. It's very, very technical. Delaney's the banana pudding, please. I helped last week with banana pudding, and it came out a little bit not perfect.
Yeah.
She fired you.
She fired me, straight up. Straight up fired me from the pudding. Delaney has been a staple piece at Redbird. I mean, from the second that we decided to open up a restaurant, she's been all in.
And she goes. See you tomorrow.
We're looking at about 9 a.m. Bark starting to set. Slower and slower. These first couple hours, we're really just trying to make sure we get enough smoke on them. They look good. Yeah, so it's funny. A lot of people come in, and if you haven't been around Texas and seen barbecue joints being open maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 days a week, what do y'all do during the week? Do y'all have other we've heard, do y'all have other part-time jobs, or what do y'all do during the week? As soon as Sunday is done and we've served and we're completely done, our order for the following week comes Monday. Consider, you gotta keep in mind, we just worked all week last week. When Tuesday morning comes around, here comes another 80 to 100 briskets to trim. So right now we're just re-trimming the briskets that we've already trimmed on Tuesday. We like to go through them, re-trim them. He's making sure that the fat level here is right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fat level on the lean side is right as well. Making sure the edges are rounded, making sure that the fat is, a 1/4 inch. If you have a pointy edge or the fat's too much, you can cook a really nice brisket, but on the final slice of the product, you'll get exposed. The re-trim of the briskets, this is one of the most important parts of the brisket process. And so we're utilizing the beef, the trim, we're making 120, 140 pounds of sausage a week. Other than that, we also use the trimming for our smash burgers. So Redbird BBQ is open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And we're also open on Wednesdays through our window in the front. But that's strictly for the smash burgers that we do. So where you open this up, you bring it all the way over here. We got the hook over here. So Wednesdays are the days that we're doing burgers, but we saved a couple for you guys to try. Hope you guys like it.
Wow. I love the crispiness of the patties. Soft meat on the inside and then crunchy, just crispy goodness on the outside.
This burger is so rich that the pickles are like the perfect complement to like cut through that fat. This is like an insane burger, man. Amir was telling me that people line up 2 hours before they open on Wednesdays when they're giving out smash burgers, and like, I can see why now. Seriously, like this burger is insane.
When I was starting a restaurant, I did a lot of research of like what I could find locally and what I could source locally. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna taste better. All of the spices that we get here at Red Bird, it comes from a local company in Beaumont called Texjoy. Everything on the menu has these spices in it. So that was so important to us, finding really good spices that helped elevate what we were doing. So we make our own seasoned salt here. It's Diamond Crystal's kosher salt, a little bit of our Cajun rub we make in-house, and then some garlic powder, onion powder. I like to season the ribs like maybe an hour before we load them. Just kind of so like they can sweat a little bit. So Texjoy off the bat, that was kind of something that made sense for us. And then also sourcing our honey. You know, we use a lot of honey here. Our rib glaze is like a hot honey rib glaze. So we put a lot of honey in there. The sweetness that you get, that's coming from local honey. You can taste it. It just tastes fresh, and it tastes like you just got it out of, you know, in your backyard. In my opinion, you don't want near as much smoke on ribs as you do brisket. The bottom logs for a rib fire, I'm gonna put it this way. So you see how it's a totally different bottom layer? Yeah. And so that way, it's different airflow. So this is gonna allow the flames to be more crisp and less smoky. I didn't get into barbecue. I like jumped into barbecue. Like, as soon as I thought of the idea of bringing barbecue home to where I grew up, it was like I went full force. There was no like, hey, let's go buy a brisket at HEB and start trying to cook and figure out like that. I Googled barbecue jobs. I had a full-time job in Houston. I Googled barbecue jobs. First job I interviewed at was Feges BBQ. They hired me on the spot. So I had 2 jobs for like 6 months. No one really knew I was working up there. I've always been told like work in silence, and for me, that's what we've done. I went from not owning a restaurant, never being in the restaurant industry, to now like running a very high level barbecue restaurant. Little fat render. We like flavor here at Red Bird. Your brisket has a ton of white fat on it, you don't like flavor. So that challenge of constantly figuring out how to make the brisket as good as you can, it's fun. If people say they don't like cooking brisket, I'm not gonna say anything. Never mind, because I just remember Cooper saying he didn't like cooking brisket. I'm not gonna say anything.
What is your least favorite thing to cook and why?
Brisket, not even close. Yeah, it's the least profitable thing we do. It's the biggest pain in the butt. It's brisket for sure.
Anyone that says they like to cook anything else but brisket that own a barbecue joint is wrong, yes. I'm trying to big dog everyone. Little baby. And you're trying to cook them to where all of them are coming off at the same time. That's ideal. Sometimes the briskets don't want to do what they're supposed to do, and they take a little bit longer than some of them do, but for the most part, our goal is to take them off all at the same time. But I couldn't do it without the people that work here. I mean, when you're doing 80 to 100 briskets and 60 racks of ribs and 120 pounds of sausage, like, you have to have a crew. Everyone has to be focused. Everyone has to be dialed in at a very high level. There's really no time to like not be focused. Nice job, guys. We are 820 in all briskets and pork ribs are off. When I was figuring out the name of Red Bird, I was struggling with the name. So back in 2018, October, my stepbrother Cody passed away, and it was very sudden. And when that happens, everyone's thrown for a loop. When someone close to you passes away, you will see things that remind you of them. Well, for our family, it was cardinals, it was redbirds. As soon as he passed, like, that's all we saw. Making it something that, like, carried on that, like, it makes all of this worth it. And so, I think about him and that helps. I think about all the people that have invested in Redbird. That'll get you through. But it's tough. Friday is our hardest day because it's the first day of service, right? Got to get here early. First thing is making sure the turkeys are on. Obviously briskets, potatoes. Have to ensure those get in the oven.
You gotta make sure the potatoes are perfectly laid. There's no rush in this process.
I think when you mix cheese and potatoes, people already are like, they already want to try it. 2 different types of cheeses, very high quality. We shred it ourselves. That, with the combination of the spices that we put in it, I mean, we've got them so dialed in. It's like, not many people are doing scalloped potatoes and barbecue, and I think ours are by far the best. You know, my dad actually got up early this morning. Got here at 5 a.m. to do the pita bread for Aunt.
Love your dad.
My dad, we can't keep my dad away from this place. He is here Friday as soon as he's done seeing patients. He's here. Delaney's on sides, and always on Fridays, her mom, she's always working the sides with her. So her mom will come in, her mom always helps, and Delaney and her mom are like best friends. Customers love that, I love that. They're great at it. And then my mom's here. When she comes down, she helps. My stepmom, Stephanie, she comes and helps a lot. My sister has been here, you know, she's here now, she helps a lot when she's in town. I want my family to feel like welcome here. Yeah. It just makes things more of like a family environment, and I think that speaks volume to, you know, Redbird and where we're headed. You need to get here around 10:30 to 11 o'clock to get the full menu. We can't blindly cook 50 briskets and hope people come. The whole idea of selling out is not to just post and be cool, oh, we're sold out of meats. You have to be cooking a strategic amount to where you're selling out and you don't have wasteful product. The customers have been crazy supportive. I'm talking a lot of regulars. You know, there's this one girl, Leah, like my sister grew up with her. Just seeing her in line, like everyone behind the line, as soon as we see Leah, like we're all just so happy to see her.
Leah! Hello! Leah,
hi! What up, Leah? How are you, sweetheart?
That's how you know you've made it. Can I get a pound and a half of brisket?
Yeah.
Yes, girl. You're getting more today. You think more people? Yes.
Where I learned barbecue is very Central Texas, elevated at a very high level. We have a little Cajun influence, but I think for the most part, it's very traditional. So for example, like the spicy cheddar and green onion sausage, it's got cayenne in there instead of jalapenos. That right there is our flair on a Cajun spicy cheesy sausage. I always wanted to do stuff Cajun because number one, I am Cajun, I grew up down here. But number two, it's some of my favorite food. Like, you put all your energy into the customers because you want them to have an amazing experience. And then after that, it's like, all right, dude, here's another 8 to 10 hour shift. We still have 30 briskets to retrim. We got 25 to 30 cooking. But I think what makes it worth it is, number one, the people that we bring together. You can see them and loving the food. They're bringing their families out. They're just loving the food. That to me is worth all the hard work.
A barbecue restaurant with just ribs, I don't know if it's been proven yet. We thought that it could be a really cool idea, and it gives us a chance to just be really creative. On a perfect tray of barbecue, the ribs should be kind of that sweet or tangy kind of change of pace from the rest of the meats. We wanted a quicker, faster way to serve really good barbecue. It's a rib-only place. I thought it'd make sense to just be called Ribbee's. So Ribbee's isn't our first restaurant together. We actually have another restaurant together called Goldie's. It is Texas Monthly's #1 barbecue restaurant in the state. It was created by 5 friends. We got together after working at a bunch of restaurants in Austin and all over the state of Texas really, and opened a place together in Kennedale, and we thought it'd be a really fun experience for us, and it just so happened that we were really good at it and got #1. The concept of Ribbee's is totally different from Goldie's. Goldie's is your classic Central Texas tray of barbecue with brisket ribs, turkey sausage, pork belly. But for Ribbee's, this is just gonna be kind of like box combos. You get like 4 or 5 ribs, French fries, coleslaw, and a homemade bread roll. And it's just a lot quicker service. Before Ribbee's, this place was another barbecue place. Before that, it was a Mediterranean place. And before that, it was a Sonic. I found this place on Facebook Marketplace for rent. And I came and checked it out. I thought the building looked extremely cool. The landlords, they were also running a barbecue place at the time. They were like looking to retire basically. They knew about Goldie's and they were like, oh, y'all would kill it. So they basically left me all their stuff. And at that point, it was hard to say no. Ribbee's is located in South Fort Worth. When people come through Fort Worth, they should be expecting some of the best barbecue in the state. I think it really is pretty dense here with great barbecue. Right now, Ribbee's is open Thursday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we're just prepping pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Here at Ribbee's, we are doing baby back ribs only and beef back ribs, but neither one of those are very popular on Central Texas barbecue menus. At Goldie's, we do the spare ribs, and you see that way more often, but here, we're bringing the baby backs back. The baby backs tend to be a little bit more meatier too, so that's why we kind of went with the baby backs.
So what is the seasoning exactly?
It's just our seasoned salt.
So how many ribs you got out here?
Today we're gonna be doing 100 racks, 90 baby back ribs, and 10 of the beef back ribs. And this is pretty much what we've been doing every single day.
Do you have to go like lighter or heavier since these are like baby back ribs?
I go a little bit lighter, and you'll see later on why. We do this again on the board when we're cutting them. So like every one of them gets touched up with like fresh seasoning and sauce. This right here really is just for some color. And then the beef backs, we can't fit a normal rack of beef ribs in the box, you know, and they're all different sizes, so they're kind of weird. But the beef backs tend to be similar sized and a little bit smaller, so they fit in the box better. It's like this bone and this bone to go together, and it kind of just keeps going till the middle. And that way you get the biggest bone with the smallest bone, and then you get like 2 medium-sized bones in the middle. It kind of all works out. For the beef back ribs, it is a different rub. All we do is just 50-50 salt and pepper. That's all those kind of need. So, and then we don't put anything extra on them, so we just slice them and put them in the box.
Dang, these are some pretty big beef back ribs. Where'd you get them from?
Our brand. They're nice. So they're like nice.
Yeah, they leave quite a bit of meat on it compared to like you go to Costco or Walmart and get beef back ribs.
Did I ever consider opening this with the offset? Absolutely not. You're watching me load up 100 racks of ribs on one single smoker. Obviously, I couldn't do that on an offset. For me, it just felt like a no-brainer to open this place with a rotisserie. Got them all in. Here at Ribbee's, we're using a 1,000-gallon M&M rotisserie. So at Goldie's, we have the 2,000-gallon, and it's about almost twice the size. Here we have the smaller version. Maybe should have got the 2,000 for here too, but I thought it would be a little bit more chill. But M&M rotisserie is great because you do still have to build like good fires. You still have to watch the fires. There is still like technique to it because there is no gas assist or anything like that. I'm still very involved in the cook. So that's why I like the M&M so much, because it just feels like all it is a wood-fired rotisserie, which we love, and we love them, and it's been great for Goldie's and for Ribbee's. Wednesdays right now, it's me, Lane, Jalen. I've known Jalen and Lane since I was probably in 3rd grade. We just hung out every day. And then we all moved to Austin together. And we lived in the same house together for like years and years and years. So it's been cool. It's been cool. Running a barbecue place with your friends is freaking hard, but you gotta really be freaking like good friends. We get in our fights and they can get pretty ugly. But with the last couple years, with Goldie's being successful and now we have this next restaurant, it's been smooth sailing. I guess it's more when things are going rough, it can get kind of dicey. But when things start going good, it doesn't really matter. Like, things are going good. So, you know, why fight? Like, let's just keep doing what we're doing, what we're good at, which is just making good food.
You like that thing too? Oh, yeah.
Wednesdays, we prep the coleslaw dressing. I won't put it on the menu, and I think it would shy a lot of people away, but I don't think you would notice unless I said it, but it is like a honey mustard coleslaw dressing. But it's mainly, you know, really creamy, sweet from the honey, and you just get a little bit of that tang from the mustard. Pretty good. I'm rocking with that. we would cook some ribs and put the honey mustard like coleslaw dressing on them, and we actually did really like it. The coleslaw dressing can be used as a sauce for the ribs. The process for the rolls is very similar to Goldie's. It's the exact same recipe we use over there. All we do is we make the dough, we let it rise, cut it up, and prep it into little dough balls instead of doing the bread loaves. You're just pinching the bottom, you're not really pinching the top. Bam.
Don't record me not pinching, right?
You're fine. Okay, flip it upside down. Now, it's just, and then pinch the bottom, and then put it in the thing.
Better, right?
Yeah, that was better.
What's better?
So we're at, I think, as far as our rolls versus like Goldie's bread, honestly, I like them both. I think I like the rolls a little bit better because we put a little bit of honey on top. Just add a little bit more sweetness. So they're done? They're like, I think the top racks are done, but the bottom racks aren't quite there. The higher rack just tends to cook faster than the bottom rack. But I mean, the bottom rack's not too far off. You can see it has pretty similar color, but it's just not like as high in temp. This is looking pretty good. So my barbecue story kind of started at La Barbecue. That was my first barbecue job. I was working there with Dylan. Dylan was cooking and I was cutting. We were both fairly new to it. We were just trying to get better at it together. Then I went over to Valentina's and worked with Miguel and cooked the briskets over there for a while and did a whole lot of prep stuff. And then we opened Goldie's. You know, when you own your own place, you're able to do whatever you want. So we really got into it and started doing a whole lot of new techniques that, you know, we hadn't seen anyone ever do before, but we thought would work really well.
So Ribbee is more Johnny's concept. So basically, like, we've gone to the point at Goldie's where like you're kind of like pretty much cruising, you know. So like maybe having come on like last week we came like Monday through Wednesday, you know. And then Donnie just kind of tells us what's going on. We found service at Goldie's and Jam would leave and he'd come over here at nighttime and help Donnie out with whatever he needed. The stuff on the lower rack, since heat rises, when it gets to the top of the rotisserie, these things don't cook as hot. So we're gonna bump up the heat just to finish the rest of those guys off. And then we'll just put them in a warmer overnight and just hold them at temperature. And then tomorrow they're ready to eat.
What I think makes a perfect rib is I am really looking for a certain texture, not quite fall off the bone, but not sticking to the bone. Somewhere in between that, and we're looking for just a lot of flavor because they really are just a blank canvas and you get to be as creative as you want with them. The flavor profile for the rib rub here is just kind of simple, but there's a lot, we do a couple different rubs here.
And this right here is the Goldie seasoned salt?
Yeah, it's the base is the Goldie seasoned salt. And then we'll add some sugar, paprika, just a little bit of this. And then just a little bit of chili powder. So yeah, I mean, the Goldie's seasoned salt is obviously really good. And then we just, you know, add some new flavors to it, like a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy, and that's the original rub. And our spicy rub is like us adding chili powder, cayenne, red pepper flakes to the seasoned salts. So it's super chill, but it does, I mean, it just makes it better. And eventually one day I'd like to bottle these different rubs. This is the Goldie sauce that we use at Goldie's and in our bottles of rubs that you can buy at Goldie's or on Walmart or online. So we just use it as the base for these sauces that we do here. This is gonna be the hot honey. Right now we only have the sweet sauce and the hot honey sauce. I really, really like both of them, but I think I like the hot honey a little bit more because we already made a banger barbecue sauce. So now all we have to do is add different stuff. I swear people are gonna be like, dude, just putting honey in everything. So right now I'm kind of up here getting Ribbees set and running, training our staff. At Goldie's, Lane and Jalen are holding it down.
We're working pretty much Monday through Sunday right now, so we work over at Ribbee's kind of during the week, sometimes on the weekends, but we still got Goldie's to take care of too, so we're still open Friday through Sunday, so yeah.
So one of us is always here, and then Johnny will keep coming back and forth too.
Like, how do you keep the fun in it, working two places?
Real sad.
Yeah.
We're usually just cracking jokes, goofing around.
I feel like, yeah, it gives us something new to do too.
Yeah.
I mean, working at Goldie's kind of got into a routine of doing the same thing over and over again, so it is fun doing something new.
Jalen and Lane are co-owners with me for Goldie's and for Ribbee's. We're 3 very capable owners, and we can kind of switch around whenever we want. Like any week, this could be Jalen or Lane and vice versa. Cleanliness is really the most important thing at a restaurant. People will eat at a restaurant that serves bad food. They'll eat at a restaurant that has like bad customer service, but you'll never see people eating at a place that they know is like gross. You know what I'm saying? So what's most important for a restaurant, it's always number 1, cleanliness, and then it's food, customer service. But you really can't be lazy on cleaning.
I've been busy all day, huh?
Superstar.
Like, it's just a cabin log style fire, and then it'll light up and go. I don't close it all the way, I just kind of like that, and then leave a little bit of airflow. It'll burn right through. Once it's cold again, I come back out here and do it. So, not too bad. Thursdays, I mean, that's when we're getting our week started. We got a lot of prep to do in the morning. So they kind of have to set up the front of house, set up the kitchen, bake some bread, put the ribs on. Basically, I had them scheduled 4 days in a row for 10 hours. And they get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. And that's pretty much the exact same schedule I have over at Goldie's. I think the ideal schedule for the world. I mean, I don't have a manager or GM. It's just me and my employees. So they just kind of report to me. The vibe should be like all the stress of this place falls onto me and not to them. And they don't have to like ever handle a stressful interaction with the customer or a stressful lunch service. I handle those situations so that they can always just kind of work in a good environment.
Simple mix. Cabbage. Carrots.
How you like the honey mustard on the coleslaw?
Not many people know about that. I grew up eating it like this. Closest thing to KFC coleslaw you're gonna get.
Once you prep the coleslaw and you bake the bread, the ribs are already cooked from the day before, so they're already in the warmer, so they're ready to go. And then lunch hits, that's usually our busiest time of the day is lunch. The general customer base for Ribbee's right now is just kind of like mainly people from the neighborhood around here and people that know us from Goldie's. Some barbecue enthusiasts have come by just to check it out. So that's kind of how it's been so far.
Anyone like extra side sauces with it or anything like that?
No, just like it.
The 2164.
Yeah.
I think fries just go well with baby back ribs. We knew from the start that fries were always gonna be a part of this box. The seasoning, I don't know if it makes them unique, but it makes them really yummy. These are great French fries. Obviously, you can't get whatever potatoes McDonald's is using, so we couldn't use those. First, you get a little bit of ice cream. And then you get the Big Red. Our desserts are root beer float, Big Red float, and like a cup of soft serve. I love root beer floats. I want to have it on the menu, and I do think it goes really well with the box. So that's kind of why we have those.
They're beautiful, man. Beautiful. Pretty
nice and soft. Okay.
Yeah. That's just straight rub on there.
So the flavors we have here at Ribbee's are the number 1, which is the original Ribbee's, which is just our dry rub. Then the number 2 is the sweet ribs. You'll pour the sweet sauce on the ribs and you'll put a little bit more dry rub on top of that too as well. The number 3 is the spicy dry rub. So that's my like personal favorite. Like I love the spicy dry rub. It's really, really good. And then the number 4 is the hot honey. Again, we just sauce it, add a little bit more rub on top, and then we serve it. And the beef back ribs, which are just salt and pepper. As time goes on, we'll add new flavors and new sauces and a bunch of different stuff to this menu. You put the fries in the top right corner, then you put 4 to 5 ribs in the bottom right corner. You put the coleslaw in the top left corner and the bread roll at the end. You get to see so many people happy and trying your food and saying the food is good. It's been really, really great with Goldie's and for Ribbee's like these past few years. That's kind of what makes it all worth it, that, you know, that we have such a great support system and so many people that like really, really like what we do, you know?